So in this short video, I'm going to walk you through a really awesome functional test that we have as an option. It's called the Immunogenomics Test, and in the Immunogenomics Test, basically what we're able to do is run a gene profile, and we're able to see whether or not you have genetic predisposition or current genetic manifestation of inflammation in the body. This is systemic and localized inflammation. This is great to know if you're dealing with a chronic disease process that's been going on for a long period of time, you haven't had resolution, or you just want to know if your body has like the familial genetic predisposition for certain types of inflammation. It's great to know either way because you can take the preventative steps if you have the predisposition for it, but it hasn't manifested, or if it's already in a manifested disease process, it's good to know which genes are being activated so that we can do the best we can to create an environment in your body that will turn those genes off. Dr. Dean Ornish was a researcher who did a lot of research for cardiovascular heart disease, and he was looking at the genetic manifestation of heart disease and how it runs down in families. And what he discovered through epigenetic research was very simply, if you change lifestyle factors, you can turn the gene off. So just because you have the gene doesn't mean that that's your manifest destiny. You have the gene, but you have to have the right environment for that gene to be activated. And in changing the environment, you can actually turn off that gene. So, good thing to know, your environment is always going to make a big impact and difference in your health.
So this is just giving you an idea of what a sample test might look like with a patient for an immunogenomic. So just going to read through this here with you real quickly. Basically what this is going to be looking at is DNA sequences. So your genes, and it's going to tell us a couple of different important unique factors. So first of all, do you have any sort of immune compromised condition that you might not be aware of? For instance, autoimmune type condition where most of these things, they stem from digestive balance and how well your gut is functioning. But a lot of times they can take place beneath the surface and you might not even be aware of them. Like for instance, my wife, we did some gene testing with her. We discovered that she had a VDR heterozygous downregulation, which basically means 50% of the vitamin D3 that she takes as a supplement, her body never even absorbs because the vitamin D receptors in her body had a 50% downregulation, and therefore she only absorbed about half of the vitamin D3 that she was actually consuming. So we had to double the dose for her, if not triple it, just to get her at the regular same baseline levels. So let's move through this real quick. Let's see here. So this just gives you an idea of a little breakdown, explanation of exactly what it is that they're going to be testing, a brief definition of what homozygous, heterozygous positive, or heterozygous negative might look like for test results, and then how that is, 50% upregulation, downregulation, or 100% upregulation or downregulation of what the gene's supposed to do. But some of the key ones that you're going to be looking for in this test are going to be inflammatory markers. So you got your interleukin 1 beta. Interleukin 1 beta is a blood monocyte that mediates a whole slew of different inflammatory reactions. But most of these are acute phase response reactions, so acute types of inflammatory response. You'll see this very regularly with, let's see here, allergies I know for sure, but your COX-2 activity, and let's see, predisposition of H. pylori and gastric cancer. So if these levels are high for you, it can cause a whole slew of different issues. Th2 cytokines are actually going to be more allergy and asthma. But let's go ahead and go through this real quick. So this individual, for instance, had 2 pluses right here. And so on your own test result, you could see that this would be like homozygous positive. It means that both chromosomes carry that gene. There you go. And then you've got the exact opposite for a negative, and it'll give you the clinical considerations right here. So it'll say that, with this one being homozygous positive, that this H. pylori is present, eradication of mucosal repair is essential. So it's going to affect gut function because eats away at the inner lining of your digestive system and wears away your mucosal lining. Anyway, I don't need to get into all the crazy details of this, but I just wanted to show you kind of what the visual of it would look like for all the different genes that are tested for it. So this is a great way of just knowing whether or not your body is actually normal baseline levels for inflammatory conditions, inflammatory response or not. I do want to say, whenever we order tests like this from lab company, GDX Labs is who I work with in Asheville, North Carolina. We always, myself as a clinician or a clinical doctor, and then biochemists that work at the lab, as well as functional medicine doctors, get on a conference call, and we actually review every test result that comes back for a particular client or patient before I even go over it with you as the client. So you're not going to be getting just like my opinion on this stuff. You're actually going to be getting like a panel of doctors' opinion on what your test result actually tells us, and then what do we need to do to address any potential issues with it. So this is the Genomics Immunogenomic Profile, and they call it a genovation. So a little bit of an innovation with your genes. So if we decide to order this test, this is what it would look like for a test result for you.